was great counter to a Doom because he wants to either get doomed, then he responds, and Winter Wyvern as well, using a good Winter's Curse to reset the fight so they can fall back, also has a built-in heal, which is great against the Doom.
Very safe opener for EHOME.
Yeah, it is interesting that EHOME don't. They had a couple things they could have opted for too, like maybe that Leshrac if they wanted to set up for a good hero in the second phase in this time too. So we're thinking about those like Xingqiu heroes. I feel like the Leshrac will probably be banned out by NIP in the second phase. If there's one player I want to enable this game, it probably is Xingqiu, honestly. I want to look towards like that tiny, maybe the Nyx Assassin because it already looks kind of good.
Tidehunter.
But hey, my boy,
Early
I
Tidehunter.
came prepared today with the
All right.
Tidehunter pin. I saw it coming.
Good work, Trent.
Yeah, I was ready for grand finals of Tidehunter.
Okay, so why the Tide this early for NIP? That's the part I'm having trouble digesting.
They have flexibility, I think, with this hero, right? Some of them can go in the mid lane, some can go in the off lane. Just generally, you talk about team fight, right? When it comes to Winter Wyvern, Ravage is pretty awesome for team fights.
Yep. Very cooldown reliant for NIP right now, though.
They could also swap Doom to position 4. I wouldn't be surprised. Saxa plays
that's
a
what I
variety
think
of
it
the
is.
heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, both Doom and Tidehunter can be played at 4. It's not very common, especially for Tidehunter, but if things go well, they can still swap and play that position 4 Tide.
Yeah.
Not too surprising to see Morphling now removed after the performance we saw from Ace and Rubik. Two great heroes with terms of spell steal. So
Yeah.
also not surprising to see
That
Rubik
was
taken
a
out.
really good ban. That would have been bad if that managed to come through again here. I mean, you just saw it, so it's like fresh in your memory too, which is nice.
During the grand finals, I mean, in general, as tournaments go by, you can see them picking more team fighting oriented lineups, more late game, because if we fail early, we want to have something for the late game.
It's all about the nerves, right? It's like the oh, let's play patient. Oh, we'll just hang back. Oh, that's a little bit risky.
You know, just glancing at hero stats, I know Sand King was first phased first game and this game, but he's been picked 17 times this tournament, a whopping 70% win rate right now at the main event of Dota Pit.
And we thought Sand King was a forgotten hero.
Yeah, but wow.
Turns out Burrow Strike is just that good. It's the Death Prophet taken up there by NIP. So that does leave in the Leshrac here. If they wanted to do like the Wraith King 1, and then they could do the Leshrac plus the Tiny in the side lane, or the Leshrac plus the Nyx Assassin.
Maybe those skeletons last game, putting into perspective how quickly you can knock down structures if you've got a pushing mid with Wraith King.
What about our ace heroes, though? We've already lost this potential like Drow draft, but aside from that, we've got everything, right? The Morphling and the Naga, I guess, but man, he's a lot of heroes.
Yeah, Ember Spirit is not,
sure does.
not banned so far, and EHOME, I mean, they just picked 2 heroes, but so far looking like a good Ember Spirit game. No real lockdown for him. Nyx Assassin still in the pool if they want to shift towards it. One of the best heroes if NIP decides to go for Ember. And there's also a threat of Medusa as well. We can see the anti-mage ban, so it could be Medusa pick coming up.
Scarab makes it all the way through, third pick.
It's definitely the best hero to pick here because it already, you know, it's good versus both Tide and Doom. It cancels out a lot of the heroes you might want to pick, like that Ember Spirit that we were mentioning. And I think it does set up for the Leshrac still as well. But could be Zhao Wei onto, I mean, all of his heroes are still in the pool, right? We still have the Nature's Prophet if it looks good. It's already a Tidehunter game, which is kind of like, you know, he's very good at just sitting on one of those side lanes, so we might not see it this game from Zhao Wei, but his Underlord's also still there. If you're thinking about heroes that can just do fine in a 1v1.
Is this the third pick Bane again for NIP?
Hard pressed to find a better hero.
Will history repeat itself? I mean, Witch Doctor could be a possibility, but whoa! Uh-oh, Grand Grant rolling in his seat right now as the Undying gets picked up for NIP.
Can you check the win rate of Undying throughout this tournament, Zaori?
I believe it's 40%.
Thank you so
He's
much.
2 and 3.
Well,
Didn't we have this discussion on the panel this morning? Were you even paying attention?
Well, we did, but, you know, there were a lot of numbers tossed out there, Trent.
It's 2 win, 3 losses.
Yeah, I think you're right. 40%. Only picked 5 times.
Got him. Well, if I do my NA math here.
That Canadian memory, well done, bud.
I think he won the games when he was paired up with Shadow Shaman. Like, dropping a Tombstone, Shadow Shaman wards, it's so hard to fight into that. So, Medusa, Wraith King, I don't think that's extremely greedy, but I love having Medusa against heroes like Undying, Phoenix, Keeper of the Light, where you just focus the structure and still deal damage around.
They could do position 3 Wraith King. With the Nyx Assassin, it's actually an okay dual lane if Zhao 8 wanted to play it, and he could just go like Vlad's and stuff, and then they could have the mid Medusa and like maybe not absorb so much farm on the hero. I do agree the Medusa looks really good here. I like Medusa when it's a lot of AoE focus, but
they go for Lash. That's
it's
a good
just
call,
Lash.
Trent.
It's just one of the two.
Again, fairly predictable lanes for EHOME, most
Fairly
likely.
predictable heroes.
Yeah, that too.
Just like every time.
So NIP, still some flexibility with their picks also, actually. Not so much the Undying, but Doom and Tide, certainly.
10 seconds
BKB hero
remaining.
this game. For NIP, one would think.
5 seconds
There's also the thought, I mean, we talk about Undying, we usually talk about Spectre. Terrorblade being the other hero where we talk about these heroes that you're looking at that you just kind of want like that protection for in the laning phase. But they're going to focus more on the mid lane at the moment and grab themselves that Templar Assassin.
She was second phased last game by NIP, I believe.
So Leshrac, pretty annoying for the refractions, but aside from that, it's not too bad.
Yep.
I guess there is still the burn from the Wraith Kings. There actually is quite a bit of little damage over times from these heroes.
It's okay. Certainly more just NIP want to play an up-tempo drive. I see TA Undying on the same squad. I think go, go, go.
Yeah. Yeah, and the question is how much of that is going to end up being a space creating Templar Assassin, or do you want something a little bit more aggressive for Ace to go with it too, like that Juggernaut or something would be like the classic hero here, right?
Yeah.
But Undying doesn't secure kills very well for someone like Juggernaut in the lane, so that's why he tends to be like a little bit more passive, I would say. They're going to take care of one of those Ace heroes. Yeah, fair.
NIP does not have a last pick this time, but they could still sneak in one of those heroes.
I know, that's what that was like, we said we've seen the Meepo, we've seen the Brood, so now we just need their Arc Warden, but EHOME says no.
Is this a potential Meepo game for NIP? It doesn't look like a great game, but they will just take the Lifestealer, the forgotten about carry we talked about in the last draft.
That's nice, though, because we were just talking about how they wanted something a little bit more passive, right? And like Lifestealer is a bit more passive in the laning stage these days. He just kind of hangs out, and he's good against a Nyx Assassin and Leshrac lane like that, at least in terms of survivability. And Undying, I mean, it's not the best lane for an Undying, though. Like, this isn't who you think of when you want to punish heroes as Undying, right? You want, like, maybe some beefier heroes, or you want a carry that can actually help secure the kills maybe a bit more. But if the Leshrac sticks around too much for the decays, he can't kill him in a single open wounds, right? With just, like, open wounds, rage, and maybe you
How are they going to deal with the Lifestealer who has built-in BKB? And that's going to be a Medusa for them, as
look at us go.
as
Look,
expected.
We just got, like, all the... So, I mean, if we're getting their heroes, you know NIP is probably thinking the exact same stuff, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? Like, those last 3 heroes...
Well, maybe not. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we're analysts and they're players. Just kidding.
To that critical mass that once she gets there, she just feels invincible. However, in this particular game, we do have Fata on the TA. Perhaps not one of his most known heroes, like maybe he's not the most popular player on the TA, but at the same time, he's going to be playing versus that Medusa on the mid lane, and usually that's a favorite matchup for the TA. So we'll see if he's going to be able to perhaps pressure him so much in the lane that Medusa is going to suffer to even recover in the jungle.
Are you at all concerned, too, about these high cooldowns that we're going to be seeing coming out from the side of Ninjas? More specifically, that Ravage, right? Sometimes the threat of a Ravage is even scarier than the actual thing happening. Are we at all concerned about that on their side? How are they going to use that to their advantage?
Yeah, of course, you have the Ravage, you have the Doom as well. The Tombstone has a big cooldown overall. They do have these big spells, but at the same time, you have the TA that isn't really cooldown reliant, right? So you are going to be able to make moves happen constantly while the Nyx is farming up. I really want to see this TA get an early game item build so that she can pressure a EHOME, so that she can play against that Medusa early on while Nyx is getting that Radiance, if that's even the build that he goes for, but I believe it should be, as he is playing versus Nyx, and it's always problematic. You're playing into the Carapace. Saksa
gets himself that rune. They're going to be able to slow down Saksa here with that Arctic Burn. Going to try to run himself away. In comes 33. He's going to try to body block.
He doesn't really do it.
No, they're
Another
getting real
is
close.
coming.
Can they find this here? They're going to throw out that last Fire Blast, and that's going to be our first blood.
That's a big kill as well for Neverend. She's going to be able to either get Sticks and Quelling Blade or Boots early on, which can help him versus 33. But 33 overall is in a good lane. Like, you're playing Tidehunter versus Wraith King Winter Wyvern, I think you shouldn't struggle way too much even after Saksa fed that first blood, which is very uncharacteristic for Saksa, by the way. We don't really see him giving those first bloods away way too often.
Although they are chipping away at him a little bit here on 33, so it
Level
has to be
1.
a little bit. Yeah, it is level 1, like you said.
Level 1 and level 2 are a little bit problematic as you still have that stout shield, but later on, as you get a level 3, you should be fine.
Middle lane too, we're seeing TA just taking a little bit of a lead, nothing too crazy just yet. I would like to see this bottom lane. This should be fairly aggressive, right? Coming out from both sides, actually. If you can land a nice stun, follow up with another over on the side of EHOME, and of course, you're going to see the Undying constantly just trying to get those decay stacks up.
Yeah, like one side is aggressive and is trying to pressure the Naics and just kill them, right? It's the side of EHOME. On the other side, it's just PPD being a nuisance, just PPD being there, decaying them, allowing that Nikes to farm early on. It's not like they have a lot of kill potential of NIP, at least not until Doom rotates, and I don't see that happening very soon.
It's mostly just trying to make that space, right? Being able to, you know, push them back by taking all those stacks of decay.
At the same time, you have that Edict, which has been nerfed, but Xiao 8 is still going to be able to dish out a lot of damage from level 2, even from level 3. Once he gets that level 2 Diabolic Edict, he's going to be a very powerful hero, even versus the Rage of Nyx, as he doesn't care. It's not magical, it's physical damage. You can run him down.
Well, definitely feels like he's comfortable in this lane right now, despite having some of those decay stacks on him.
He's already squishy. He doesn't care. He's a disco pony. He's allowed to be squishy. Undying, however, if he's caught out of position, 2 stuns, yeah. This is alright, as he gets a double decay. He has 12 stacks right now. He should be fine.
Alright, we'll move away. Looks like Fata does get himself a haste rune. Just goes right back over to that lane, though. A bit early for rotations at this time.
Yeah, you just want to be winning this lane hard. And so far, he's doubling the CS. 15, well, 10 CS ahead almost. 15 on him. Only 6 on the Medusa. So far, the TA is working very well on that mid lane for them, and it doesn't get any easier for Medusa. He's gonna have to be thinking about jungle like minute 5 if this continues this way.
So are we gonna see the Blink build coming out for Fata like right away, or do you think we're gonna be seeing that Deso pick up?
Well, that Blink would allow him to rotate across the map, make movements earlier. That Deso does allow him to do the same, well, not perhaps have the same impact in the mid game, but it allows him to scale better and be certain that he's gonna be able to actually get items later on. So it's always kind of difficult to decide. Xiao 8.
Xiao 8, he's gonna try to burn them down, get some damage on them, but he's slowed down quite a bit. He is pretty fast, though.
He's fast.
To run away, and they'll turn back around. They're just gonna keep trading off hits over here. Xiao 8, he's not gonna be able to land the stun.
He's fast as he
PPD,
is.
he wants this. I don't think he's gonna be able to get it, though, in time.
I think he's way too far away. Yeah, he's a bit tankier than you expect that Leshrac to be, as he did pick up that crown early on. Plus he has like 3 branches, so PPD got a little bit baited, and now he might die here even.
Yeah, they'll be able to follow up with that split earth. They've got the damage. They should be able to burn him down. He's going to try to stay alive, maybe get the denial off. He's fighting his way through this. Can they turn it around? He will fall, but can they get the kill on Xiao 8 is the question. We'll be able to sidestep that split earth. They get the kill.
Very well played by PPD, and that's why he also tips Ace, as Ace is right there at the right time to use the open wound so he can heal up a little bit more so that they can take down Leshrac afterwards. Yeah, they do give the first blood, but it doesn't matter. You still got that Leshrac, and you gave the kill to Nyx. He's going to propel to that Midas even faster.
Although they follow up with another split earth here. Ace having to crawl himself back. They've got the impales in queue. Are they going to be able to find this? Ace going to try to fight his way through. They do have the Spike Carapace, as Ace is able to walk himself back, and you see the Undying just bullying Q as he chases him away.
It's all about the positioning, right? If you are Nyx, you want to be near your creeps so that Edict does not go solely on you, or you need to be out of range. At the same time, Xiao 8 understands that, and he's positioning himself very well, like on the left side of the map, so that the Edict goes exactly and only on Nyx. But we see the Doom rotation now as well.
Yeah, he's going to try to run himself out again.
It's about the bounties.
They're going to try to get that bounty. Not going to be able to quite grab it here, as we still see the chase coming out from Soxa. He's very, very tanky. Doesn't want to dive underneath that tower. Might be able to cut off Q, though. He's looking, thinking about going for that Impale. They'll be able to throw out the Hadouken. Nice Impale comes out, but it's still going to be Ace who gets the kill.
That Hadouken is always so satisfying. That amount of damage from the Satire is just really big, and they take down that Nyx. Yeah, they're pressuring this Leshrac, and they're giving Ace a lot of space on this bottom lane. At the same time, what's happening on mid? We have 32 CS on the TA, while Dusa has 17, and where is she? She's in the jungle, because it's nighttime. There's absolutely no reason for her to stay on that mid lane anymore, any longer as TA is 6. She has the traps. Even if you have the sentries, you're just risking giving away a free kill.
33 trying to hide himself now into the trees. Zinq getting into position though, should be able to help land that impale. They'll go pop that Arctic Burn. They want to give this kill over to Neverend. He's going to try to chase him down. A little more body block coming through, and Neverend will get a kill on 33.
He's such a hard kill to get, but they still do take him down as they rotated the Nyx as well. Now the thing is, what's your Leshrac doing as that's happening? Because like if Nyx isn't with him, like he can't really be on that lane. He did find a good invis room, but he's not farming. He's left alone. That's the problem. Like you do rotate that Nyx on the top lane, but now Zhao 8, he didn't win the lane. Like they didn't really convincingly win it, and because of that, he can't really be that tanky guy that's just dominating them and doing whatever he wants to here.
He feels like he wants to be in that lane, although they try to chase after this Wyvern, and Thata gets himself a nice pick off in the jungle.
Oh yeah.
Is he gonna go try to make some moves on 430 here? They've got another trap down. Will start to burst down. Another trap gets placed. They've got the refraction. She knows that she has to TP herself out. She cannot stay there.
Yeah, that's a good TP. He also TPs right actually on the tier 2 there, so because of that, this Leshrac is probably going to be forced out of the jungle.
There's a lot of people in the jungle for only, you know, 7 minutes.
That's a problem. Usually when you are playing the Medusa, you want to have at least these side lanes go well for you. So if Dusa does suffer on that mid lane, she can fall back to the jungle and farm. You can't have Leshrac stealing your farm away in that triangle.
No, already you can see Zhao 8. He's going to go make his own rotation here.
They're making the right calls though. Winter Wyvern is defending the mid lane. Now we have the Leshrac running top. They can outpush the top and the mid lane. These rotations were definitely necessary for them.
Dire's middle tower is under
Saksa being a big old bully over here. They do have the trap though. They see Y over in the corner.
Do they want to dive?
I don't know. Saksa's pretty tanky, and he's just going to chase them through here in the woods. And top lane though, Neverend finds another kill on the Tidehunter.
Tidehunter is the sacrificial lamb because it's Zhao 8 rotating top. It's the enemy position tree rotating top to kill your position tree. So if you are an NIP, you aren't too sad about that. It's not like you're losing a lot with the Tidehunter dying, as the resources that you're investing into that Tidehunter are none.
Saksa, he's just getting burnt down. They've got the Impale, and Zhao 8 will be able to get a kill.
EHOME just playing really well. Even after they realized that they lost their laning stage, they didn't get demoralized. What they did is they just started making the proper rotations with Zhao 8. He's basically playing the second position 4, and this is usually what you have to be doing if your laning stage went poorly. Specifically versus this Nyx, you can't really contest him any longer on that lane, so you have to be making these movements, and they paid off, certainly so far.
I feel like we keep seeing a lot of Tidehunters being the sacrificial lambs in lane. What's the other game that we saw where we had another Tidehunter?
It was yesterday, actually, as well. That Tidehunter had like 0-4 very early on.
He was having a lot of trouble. They actually dropped the tombstone here in the bottom lane. Maybe a bit of miscommunication here, thinking maybe Ace was a bit closer. Maybe a bit of a cooldown time, though, for that.
Yesterday it was Boxy, also versus NIP, feeding with the Tide.
Ah, it was Boxy.
Yeah,
all
Fata
right.
was rotating all the time with that Ember, just killing him off on his own tier 1. Now it's the Zhao 8 with the Leshrac rotating on NIP's Tidehunter, so the tables have turned a little bit, but it's still the Tidehunter that's suffering in the end. But the Tidehunter is such a hero that he buys Vlad's, he gets level 6, perhaps gets that Ravage.
And can turn it all around again.
Exactly, he's already useful to his own team.
Look at him already trying to run away from Neverend. He was thinking about it for a second. So you see Winter Wyvern, though, over here in the mid lane. You can see the Undying trying to bully him just a little bit. We'll pop the Arctic Burn to get out of line sight.
Yeah, TA is still around.
I don't feel like she wants to go in on this, though. Not right now.
Basically, if you are Winter Wyvern in this kind of a scenario, you're that position 5 that's basically on that mid lane, and you spam Splinter Blast, you try to prevent them from taking the tower. If they go for you, you die, you die. You don't really care too much.
This is just going to be a dead Undying. Zhao 8 runs him down.
Yep. Undying is so tanky, but one of the best ways of killing him is that physical damage, and that Leshrac with Diabolic Edict just running him down. And so far, I'm seeing this Leshrac creeping back into the game. He's actually just below Tidehunter. They pretty much have the same net worth, even though Zhao 8 wasn't on the lane. He was rotating all the time. He's getting closer to that Athos of his.
I think my concern is the fact that you have both of these cores on the side of Ninjas right now that are doing really, really well. The TA is going to come online very quickly, and I think that's going to end up being a little bit of an issue.
It is. At the same time, the Duza is just farming the jungle. So you have to get this Fata TA online as soon as possible. He has to be creating space. He has to be making these aggressive movements. As soon as he gets the next item, I believe we're going to see him do exactly that. Well, Medusa's job is to stick back into the jungle, just farm, chill, not really move across the map way too much until she gets that 1 or 2 items that are going to allow her to do that.
The movement coming out. Decay is going to get spammed over here on Y. See, they're going to try to chase down the Undying again. Zhao 8 chasing
Poor
now.
PPD.
Yeah, this
once
just
again.
keeps happening to them. They have that pulse, no, but they're going to try to go for the split. Not going to be able to land it, though, as it looks like the rest of EHOME going to just walk away. No problem.
Yeah, there's that Midas completed on the Nyx. He's just going to continue farming as well. I believe he's going to go into that Radiance next.
Yeah, both of them actually picked up their Midas around the same time, the Wraith King and the Lifestealer. Oh, again here, Undying, run down by Zhao 8. There's nothing to save him here.
At one point, you have to think if PPD is doing this on purpose or not, just to give information to his own team, just to go and plant those wards. If he dies, he dies. It's not the biggest of deals. Your Nyx is farming, your TA is farming. You're just a lonely position 5 out there giving info, creating space after all.
So you get a bit concerned, though, the fact that they are going to... Oh, Impale on the bottom lane. It looks like Doom. Saksa is going to get stunned up, and they're going to be able to find themselves another kill.
The first stun from the Nyx, then the stun from the Lash, then the stun from the Wraith King, and he's just gone. No chance to use Scorched Earth, no chance to run away.
Well, as Grant would say, stuns win games. Maybe this is the case that they need to do here.
Yeah, if you're stunned, it doesn't matter how good you are. You can't really use any of your spells.
Can't push any buttons, that's for sure. This tower just melts immediately. Lots of momentum on the side of EHOME right now. Mid lane, things were looking pretty good for Fata, but he has slid down just a little bit here in terms of net worth. Medusa very, very busy making sure that she is just farming up that jungle, although Xingqiu will run into the Lifestealer. Not going to be too big of a deal as he's able to TP himself out, but he is going to go right to the top where 33 is waiting. Saksa is trying to find him now. They're going to try to juke through here on the trees. That Fog just keeping him a little bit further away. Is he going to run into the Doom? Doom will find him over into the corner, get the Infernal, and they'll find that kill.
He needed just 3 more seconds to use that Vendetta to run away. Sadly for him, the ultimate was still on cooldown and he couldn't get up. They take down that tier 1, but they're trading for the tier 1 on the bottom lane, and now we see a smoke rotation coming from EHOME as well. So far, they have played the map really well, considering how the laning stage has went for them, specifically that offlane. Zhao 8, so experienced, the director. Even after losing the lane, he just transforms into another position 4 and starts rotating. I don't know if they can take down Ace, though.
Yeah, they have an Atos online now for Zhao 8. Yeah, they'll be able to go through the split, and they'll just try to burn him down again, though he does have the Infest. He should be able to walk himself away. Yeah. They're not going to be able to get this kill, not just yet. But that is the reveal, I believe, of the Atos, too.
He went inside one of these Skelly Bros, and he should be fine as he continues farming them under the tower. Yeah, good escape by him. That was very close, though. Very close.
Top lane, 33, throwing his weight around a little bit here against Xingqiu. We haven't seen a Ravage yet.
The only thing that you have to do as 33 right now is exactly this. You aren't really the flashy player anymore. 33, like last game, he created so much space with Broodmother, but he was very aggressive. This time around, he's very aggressive, but he isn't really a threat. He's just taking your farm on your side of the map, and you want to stop him, but you can't.
Bottom lane, Lifestealer is not going to be able to get away from this one.
That's a hero you can stop, specifically when he runs high ground like that towards your into your embrace. They get the stun combination there, and Nyx can't get that rage off.
You see the pressure, though, over here in the mid lane, and you can see that they're positioning. They're trying to stay as far apart as possible. They don't want to have that Ravage be committed upon them here. I don't think they'd have enough damage, though, to really take down this Medusa with just that combination.
Definitely not still. The Blink Dagger has been picked up by the TA, and now we're going to maybe see some rotations from NIP. Perhaps they can utilize this Blink Dagger to get the pickoffs, because usually when you get that Blink, you want pickoffs. You want to be moving across the map. It's not like Drow Blink, in which you get the Blink and then you just farm, you know. It makes you mobile. It makes it easier for you to farm. On TA, you buy that Blink to get kills, and so far, she hasn't really utilized it in that way.
Right, runes are up so far. Saksa grabs one, Zhao 8 grabs one. So you're thinking about going for the hunt.
PPD again. Just moving on their side of the map.
Already you can see Zhao 8, he's being very patient.
Yeah, he's
looking
waiting.
at that tower, he wants it.
He's waiting for reinforcements. There's
There they come. In comes the cavalry. The jump forward immediately. Great Fire Blast will connect, followed up with the Impale, followed with the Split Earth, and he's just toast.
they just execute this so well. I believe Ace, this is the second time that you died on this bottom lane at this tower. And one of the reasons why he's dying is the fact that his team isn't making any rotations on the other side of the map. The TA is just farming, chilling on under her tier 1 on mid, farming the Ancients. And because of that, EHOME, they have the freest time in the world to do whatever they want to. It's not like Ace is out of position. He's at his tier 2 farming. That's arguably the safest spot for him to be when it comes to lanes. Now you have to be pressuring them. You have to be making EHOME fight you on their side of the map if you want to give the Snikes enough space and enough time to get that Relic and Radiance on time.
This feels a little odd to me because I feel like Ninjas in Pajamas, they have a very early draft, right? You've got Ravage, you've got Tombstone, although Winter Wyvern is going to have to use that Cold Embrace on herself as Fato waits patiently. Should be able to get a big Melt Strike off and one more hit to take her down. Oh, on the bottom lane, though, they'll be able to go find the Tidehunter. He gets the Ravage off. Is it going to be enough, though? And again, they're going to try to chase them down. Doom's going to get hit with that Wraith Fire Blast now as Soxa tries to run himself back, and we will see ZinQ fall. But Neverend, is he going to be able to make it out? No, the Reincarnation is going to have to get popped.
Maybe
the rest
blink.
of the team waiting right there. He's not going to be able to blink himself out. Ace chasing him down. Do they have anything to stun him? They'll be able to cancel out the TP. Neverend trying to run himself away here in the jungle. Is he going to be able to do it? I don't think so. They should be able to chase him down.
He uses the Midas.
Uses the Midas, though.
That was his only goal, but at the same time, you just lost 4 heroes. The only hero that did survive and that did farm that whole time was the Medusa, but you lost 3 heroes on that bottom lane. At the same time, TA did get the pick off, and this is what NIP needed to do. They needed to kind of pressure them and win a couple of these team fights. If you are being attacked all the time on that tier 2, just bring the forces. You have that shrine, you can't pincer them, and that's exactly what they did. Tidehunter baited a little bit, created enough space, created enough time for Nyx and Doom to follow up, and Undying there, obviously, which did, in the end, take down the Wraith King, the Lash, and the Nyx.
Just very lucky that 33 was able to get off that Ravage at the time that he did, because it was looking like he was going to fall before being able to use that spell, but he was able to turn everything quite around with it.
It's usually how Tide is played, right? You stand in front, you force them to go on you, but you're so tanky that your passive procs, and then you blow that Ravage into everyone that's attacking you.
But now they're not afraid, right? Because they're just going right over here onto this tower. ZinQ, he's very far forward. They'll go and try to save them, but no, they'll be able to take down Zhao 8. They've used that Stone Gaze as they're going to try to push back this Dusa, who doesn't have any mana left, and now Ace closing in. Tidehunter jumping forward as well. It's going to try to body block the Dusa just a little bit. Nice Winter's Curse will slow down Ace as Fata's making his way over. They've got the Refraction, they've got the Dust. Are they going to be able to go for this dive? They're going to go right past that tower. They've still got their eyes over here onto this Dusa. She will fall, and now it looks like why he's going to try to buy himself a little bit more time here, and he's going to just get taken down as soon as that's over. He just pops.
I think this is still a little bit too early for EHOME to utilize that Dusa in such an aggressive manner, so you can't really be pushing with her just yet. The NIP is still an early game-oriented lineup, as you have stated before, so you have to respect that, and you have to just AFK farm with this Dusa and let your team create space for you. So far, they did a really decent job, but this hurts them a lot, as not only do they lose the fight on that tier 1, they also lose Aegis afterwards. And that Nyx, he didn't even have Radiance in that whole engagement, which he probably will have the next time they fight, because they have the Aegis now, they have the Relic, they're going to have the Radiance, and they're going to be pressuring you.
Were they just feeling really confident because the Ravage wasn't online anymore?
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But there's more to this lineup of NIP than only Ravage, right? That Tidehunter just being there, giving Blats, giving Medallion is good enough. Like, he doesn't need to have that Ravage for him to contribute to these team fights.
Yeah, I believe it has completed that dust, so it's going to be coming out to her soon, but we'll be seeing some more pressure being placed down, and I think this is exactly what Ninjas in Pajamas needs to be doing at this time, because if you look at that Wraith King net worth, right, he's got that Midas, he's getting closer to more items, 10k net worth on him right now, so
he's actually going for a very different build. He's not going for that Radiance build, he's going for Blink, Dazzle into, it seems, AC and BKB. I believe this build is really good in the current game versus the Nyx. It will help him out a lot. Radiance is still alright, but this allows you to fight a little bit earlier, and that's what he was doing so far. He was fighting. You can't have these two greedy cores on the same side. If he was going for Radiance, and this Dusa would never get enough farm. Like, she would never get enough space to farm the way she's farming right now.
Why he sees this TA, she's got a haste, she's got a Deso, and she's got a kill.
This is the second time that that Winter Wyvern dies to Fata's haste on TA.
This is just, he's just going to keep dying every time that he shows up. It just seems like there's Fata just waiting for him.
Zhao 8 has to be... Yeah, he's scared. You can see that he's hiding behind the trees and porting down mid as he noticed that they're rotating around that top lane.
You can see the positioning coming out from Ninjas now. They're looking over at that tower. They want to try to take that down, cut off the jungle. They know how important this is to Medusa, because if you can take away this part of the jungle, she's going to be forced into that little triangle, and you're going to know exactly where she is, especially if you've got good wards up in your own jungle.
Yeah, pretty much. The problem is you don't really want to fight her here. That's her safe zone, right? What you can do, though, is you can pressure that high ground at the moment. You have the Radiance completed on the Nikes. You basically took control of their side of the map completely. The only problem is your bottom lane is being pushed in, so you have to defend that somehow.
I feel like you take buildings so much faster. I guess maybe not with like the skeletons, but...
With the skeletons in the left rack, it is a little bit difficult to take. Even with the TA, it's difficult to take before they do, but...
Fight's about to break out. They'll initiate, throwing out that Wraithfire Blast over on Tidehunter. 33 shakes it off. They'll have that Ravage online. Saksa's actually going to TP himself away, so it seems like they're just going to be patient.
Yeah, with Saksa supporting back, I believe NIP is still holding their ground comfortably because they're still stronger. They have the ages, they have the the items that they need to fight them right now, and they're fine with this. But Zhao 8 and ZQ, it looks like they're going to go for Saksa instead. They're not going to go and run up to that high ground where NIP is.
They're making their way bottom right now. Looks like they're just going to go farm up over on the side camps. And Y trying to get some D wards out, knows that there's traps just absolutely everywhere coming out from Fata. And praying he doesn't run into Fata too, right? Double damager and again outside of this pit, and they've smoked up over on the side of Ninjas.
They know exactly warding Wyvern is because he was warding those traps right now. So at least they know that and they can jump him.
Oh, again, Fata immediately finds the Wyvern. Isn't going to be able to finish him off right away though, but eventually that final hit will come through.
That's such a good kill as well, as that Wyvern basically allows EHOME to reset these fights, perhaps even use a good Winter's Curse on someone which is gonna die to TA's right-click damage.
That double damage in Dessa is just gonna make that tower just melt over here in the mid lane.
It looks like Wyvern dies every single time Fata gets a rune.
Every time he's anywhere near Fata, honestly, this Wyvern just is not having a great game. It's so hard. Needs like a Ghost Scepter or something, but it's just doesn't work out. Atos gets used and the Split Earth over onto Fata, still has that double damage. Will throw out one hit, and they'll make a rotation to the top lane where already Ace is chipping away on the tower.
Top lane is being pushed in. If you are Nikes, you have to be careful. You're still playing with Radiance versus Nyx, and if they manage to initiate on you with that Carapace, you're gonna die. They're gonna stun lock you. You have no saves on your side of the team. Like, the only guy that can save you somewhat is Tidehunter with that Ravage.
Right. The reinitiation. It looks like they're going to be very patient right now. Only about a 2K gold lead going over to the side of Ninjas in Pajamas.
That patience might hurt them though, because you are still playing versus that Medusa. They are itemizing really well. That Eagle Song is picked up. 500 gold away from the Butterfly as well.
Yeah, 430 has gotten a lot of time to be able to start getting what he needs here. They haven't really pressured her too badly. It's been mostly ganks on Winter Wyvern, usually.
However, you don't want to push versus this team without a BKB as well. So Fata is going to get that BKB first, maybe a Winter Wyvern kill again. Well,
feels like it, right? Every time that we see him, Zhao putting some pressure on the tower.
There's so many here now, though.
Blink out. It just does get reclaimed during all this.
Yeah, if you are an IP, you don't want to fight right now. You want to wait for that BKB. You want to go back, and that's it. Just farm it up. Finish that BKB. That's your huge power spike on the TA, and after that, you can be searching for new fights around that rush respawn timer. Yeah, the BKB has been finished.
That means it's go time soon.
You still have ways of breaking through it. You have Winter Wyvern, you have the Medusa, but at the same time, it's much easier for you to fight at the moment if you are an IP. You have the Rage, you have the BKB, you have the Ravage and the Doom. Perhaps smoke up, perhaps find some pickoffs now. And they're porting to this tier 2. I believe that's exactly what's going to happen.
Going to see a Lifestealer Bomb? Nope, they're just going to go together here. And Hugh trying to scout in the top lane, seeing if he can find out any information because they're not showing on the map. And you can see 430, he's a little hesitant to come out here. Doesn't know exactly where people are.
You can see how dangerous it is for him to just walk out as they are smoked up. They're moving in. This Radiance might show where they are. Actually, it's going to be Ace showing himself anyway. Now they know that they're smoked up, but EHOME kind of understood that already because they were pushing in the top lane. No one was defending it. It's obvious what's going to happen.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Looks like they're going to try to trade around a little bit here. That trap getting popped in the bottom. Zhao Wei already TPing in, but are they going to be able to cancel it out? Doom, though, gets thrown up into the air, followed up with the Impale. In comes Ace. They go and they throw out that Winter's Curse. Everyone's just going to try to TP themselves out. Zhao 8 trying to run himself away. I think he's going to be fast enough, although no, Ace starts to close the gap here. Are they going to be able to grab him fast? Yeah, there it is. There's those open wounds. Nice Atos coming through. They don't have another way to really slow him down just yet, but Ace, he's not giving up. He's going to keep chasing his ally through these times. Are they going to be able to find this kill? He's looking like he's going to fall.
That's a really good kill, taking down that flash rack, all because that Doom was in the right position to blink in, stomp him before he ported out.
So a nice pick off here on that Lashrek.
Nice pick off. At the same time, it created a lot of space for that Medusa to continue farming, as everyone pretty much rotated towards that top lane to try and defend the tier 2 to try and catch that flash rack. And you can see that this Medusa has the butterfly now moving towards that Skadi. I think this Skadi is a major big spike for them too, as you're not really worried about the BKBs any longer. You're tanky and you're going to slow down the Nikes and the TA during these fights. Plus the damage output is going to be ridiculous. The panel, they discussed the level 15 talent, the mana talent on the Mystic Snake. That's so good versus everyone. Like if you manage to use it and afterwards follow up with Nyx, like you're gonna have no mana on at least one hero on the side of NIP. And if that hero is either Doom or the Tidehunter, your team fight is so much weaker.
So what's the best way to initiate these fights if you're ninjas in pajamas? How do you get in there? Because there's just so much mana burn, right?
The easiest way for you probably is to jump the Wyvern first.
Feels like they're moving a little bit into the jungle. 33 just going to try to farm up this camp. Why trying to just push out these waves a little bit with that Splinter Blast. Everybody feels like they're just kind of trying to dodge each other as they figure out what's the next step.
Right now, the next step is Roshan. You have to wait for that. The next fight, the next big fight is going to happen because of Roshan. Either the smoke into the dire jungle to ward it up to find them and to get a pick off, or the smoke from EHOME to do the same on the side of Radiant. And we see the smoke.
They might be able to find Sox over here on this high ground. He's going to hide himself over here in the trees. He jumps forward. He's going to jump into quite a few of them as he gets the Doom off, but he might regret this here as the rest of the team is there to follow up, and they're going to chase him down and take out the Doom. Over here on the side, Lifestealer, he's got to use the Rage. He's got to run himself away right now. As the rest of EHOME, they're thinking about following. Are they going to keep doing it? The Blink's not quite up yet over on Never, and he's still giving chase. He wants this. They'll actually force staff himself up over here to the high ground, but they cannot close the gap. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. There's the Wraith Fire Blast. That's a big crit coming out. Can he get himself away? Yes, he will be able to.
Yes, he can, as he did connect with his Tidehunter there, and instantly Wraith King bails. He understands, like, okay, this is as far as I can go because my team didn't follow me properly.
Right.
You know what? Doom wasn't followed by his team. There was some disconnect there between the Doom and the rest of his teammates. At least Doom and Ace, they kind of committed to that shrine. They used the Doom on that Lash. They had the ward. They saw everyone. That's why he blinked in and stomped too. At the same time, he could have just blinked to the low ground and ran away. He would have broken their smoke, and it would have been a good move by him.
Fata, the opening with the Yules. We'll follow up with that. But again, like you said, he's got that BKB. He's going to turn back around here. He's got to run himself away from this Medusa. He's got the Stone Gaze up. They're just going to use it to disengage.
Yeah, but this is problematic if you are Fata. You just understand now. I just used my BKB and they immediately Stone Gazed, and that's it. They made me force and they made me waste my BKB. Now I can't really approach these fights the way I would like to, as I risk of being stunned. Like,
the jump forward, though, coming out from Doom. Xin-Q is going to get saved for a little bit longer here. Ace will be able to go use that Winter's Curse. Tidehunter focused over on the side. They'll be able to take down Xin-Q. He buys back, though, almost immediately as they're going to turn back around again. And they're going to try to chase after 33. That Atos coming out over on Spot. So they'll go use the Ravage. It's only going to connect over here on the Medusa. Although on the back lines, they do manage to find Zhao Wei. Are they going to take him down? Yes, he will fall over onto the side, though. It looks like they're going to turn their attention back around. And it seems like Doom should be able to run himself out. 430, he's just getting melted as Fata is wicked sick. And they're going to keep chasing. Do they find Y over here? He's going to try to TP himself out in time. Do they have enough damage? He's going to be able to go home.
And that was a bunch of buybacks as well from Xin-Q, from Nyx as well on the side of EHOME, and they still lose that fight because Medusa was completely ignored. She was cut out from the rest of her team. No one could help her, and Nyx and TA, they just destroyed her there.
So even though they did use that BKB charge earlier, they still managed to find themselves an advantageous fight. And now they're going to get themselves this Roche. They're going to get that Aegis online. Fata's going to be feeling a lot stronger and better
hero,
now.
the absolute hero of that fight for NIP is the Doom, is the Saxa, sorry. Because he jumps in, even though he doesn't have Doom, he forces them to waste spells on him.
Right.
That's it. He knows that he might die, but it doesn't matter. As long as they waste stuns on that Doom, the TA goes ham. And that's exactly what happened, and that's why the Medusa died.
Saksa has just been like the standout player for me on this team lately. He's just doing so well, whether he's playing a Shadow Shaman, a Doom, whatever. He has just been right place, right time, really good decision making.
Yeah, this level 20 talent is big on Aces Nikes as well. One of the reasons why this build works so well on Nikes is because you have the Radiance evasion, and then on level 20 you also get that bonus 20% evasion, which is really good. And you have no MKBs at the moment on the side of EHOME. I believe Wraith King went for AC after the Desolator and Blink, and Dusa has that Butterfly, so you have no ways of dealing with it at the moment at least.
I feel like they haven't been able to get some really good Winter's Curses off this entire game.
That's true.
It's been very difficult. They've used it a lot of the times just to hold one person in place. They did manage to use it during that last fight, but it was just the Tidehunter wailing away on someone. That's not who you want during that.
The only thing that it allows you to do in that scenario is to reset and perhaps take a better position with your Medusa. And that happened. Medusa went on to the high ground, but the damage just wasn't there yet. I believe that Skadi might be the game changer for EHOME right now, as they really do not have the necessary damage to take down the TA or the Nikes at the moment. The TA can die, but they're playing so well around Fata, and he's unstoppable at the moment.
He's got that MKB online too for the TA. Oof. I want to know how many double damage runes we've seen spawn outside this Rosh pit this game. Not even this game, rather the series. I feel like we've seen so many of them.
Every time there's Roshan spawning, there's the double damage next to it. Every time you want to push, a random double damage spawns into the river. So
feels like there's a high occurrence of them lately. Look at them, they're just getting in position, making sure that 430 can push out some of these waves.
Let's see if this Skadi is going to enable him to just kite these heroes, because TA is kind of low range. The same goes for Nikes. If you can stand your ground and just fight them, just Gatling gun them with that Skadi, perhaps that's the best way for EHOME to fight.
I think it's all going to come down to who gets to jump on who first, because I think if you've got, you know, a 5v5, that Scotty's going to be doing a lot, but if you can get a pick off quickly, especially like on Zhao 8 or something like that, just burn him down, not have to worry about him in these fights, I think that makes a big difference for the side of Ninjas. Again, it feels a little bit like the game's starting to slip away from them, just because the more farm juice it gets, the more difficult it's going to be for this Lifestealer and the TA, but I don't think they're quite out of the woods yet. Doom does have that invis rune. He's going to walk over the sentry though, so they know that he's there.
Yeah, they should know about that, so you can see that they're grouping up. At this point in the game, you really do not want to be walking alone, as Fata is right now. However, Zinq, like the Nyx, is alone, and he can't really do a lot about this.
Maybe can cancel a TP at most, but
well,
you do see Zhao 8 making this rotation down to bottom lane, 33 over here as well.
Not certain if they have the necessary amount of damage to take her down like this.
They're going to try, that's for sure. We'll go get the stun off. She's got the BKB, though. We'll pop the trap immediately. Force staffing forward. Zinq, though, doesn't look like he's long for this world. He's got to get taken down as they're still giving chase. Nice jump again coming out from Saksa. We'll be able to land that Centaur Stomp. They've got a big Melt Strike, and he just picked up that mech, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Ravage is going to get used. Can they burn down Zhao 8 over here? Nice Winter's Curse. Buys a little bit more time. It's not going to be enough, though. Y eventually is going to be taken down as he survives a little bit longer, but they'll be able to turn this and go right for the tower.
That Ravage there was only for the Winter Wyvern, which isn't really the best Ravage ever, but at the same time they didn't have that high ground vision on the left side, so they didn't know how many heroes were there. So because of that, he pops the Ravage, kills off the Winter Wyvern. Also, Nyx and Lash, that was a very risky play. They went for that TA, not because they thought they could kill her. They were hoping for it, obviously, but what they were doing is just trying to force that BKB. They did force the BKB, but they also forced themselves to die.
All right, the jump forward, though, immediately the rage coming out from Ace. He's going to try to fight Never End over here, but that Scotty damage doing a lot, just pushing him back, making him a little bit cautious here as he walks himself away. But they do manage to get themselves that tower.
It is still very difficult to push into Medusa. It doesn't matter, right? Like, she's still going to hold her ground on that high ground and just go at you with that Scotty, with that Butterfly. It's easy for NIP to get these pickoffs on the low ground if you find like a Nyx or a Lashrak, obviously. Even the Medusa if she's left alone somewhere. But when it comes to pushing high ground, the game does become a little bit more difficult for them.
It becomes ridiculous too if you notice this TA just never seems to have mana during any of these fights. It's just all eaten up by the Dusa. At that point, you know, the Nyx Assassin was already taken out, so we didn't even have that on top of it. But it's definitely a problem. Do have a smoke though coming out from the side of EHOME, hoping to maybe get themselves a pick off. Looks like it might be PPD if they're not careful. Do they turn around Saksa over in the corner? They drop a sentry ward, and immediately that BKB coming out from Saksa. He's got the centaur stuff. He's going to try to run himself out. Will get stone gazed up, but over here you see all this damage getting poured out over on the side. Undying actually going to get taken down. So is Zinq. That's Atos. Look at all the damage. Fata just gets shredded. And at 33, he's trying to run himself out. There's just so much damage coming out from the Scotty, the slow. He buys out. He gets himself a BKB. 33 knows he's not long for this world, as eventually he gets taken down by Neverend.
They just killed 4 members of NIP under their own shrine. Nyx was not there, but
what a smoke! What a turnaround too. We had the MKB, I think, just got picked up on the Wraith King. You had, of course, the Scotty doing so much damage from that Medusa.
The worst part is they knew about it. Like PPD, he popped that sentry right on the uphill, right? So he did see Nyx going uphill. They also destroyed the smoke, but Saksa, he tried to blink in, use the BKB, and use the Doom on the Medusa, but he just didn't manage to do it fast enough. She managed to pop that BKB. She managed to kill him while he popped that BKB before that.
And look how fast these racks are going down. You have the Leshrac, you've got this Dusa, and they just take a whole lane.
Yeah, we're gonna see the MKB on the Medusa as well very soon.
There it is, literally there.
You can't really be split pushing either with the Nyx because there is the Winter's Curse to catch you if you try to rage DP out. And suddenly that Medusa gets the MKB, gets the Skadi, and the game looks much scarier for NIP than it was just 2 minutes ago. This is it. This is the power spike of Medusa. This is Medusa in the late game.
And less than a 1K lead now over on the side of Ninjas in Pajamas.
It isn't all that grim for NIP. That last fight, they didn't use the Doom. Nyx wasn't there. Ravage wasn't used. So as long as they group up and they get a good pick off with the smoke, Rosh is about to spawn, anything can happen. They can definitely turn this game around once again. They aren't even, like, when you look at the network, they're still 2K ahead. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really mean a lot at this point, but they aren't losing too hard.
How many fights is it going to take before it starts to slip away from them though, right?
One more fight. It's all about this next Rosh engagement, yeah.
Illusions too, look at them. Saksa is not enjoying, it almost looks like he's being tickled though, right? Because he is so tanky.
He isn't taking any damage whatsoever. There's Crimson Guard and he's just fine to take all of that damage from the illusions. You can see that Nyx is building into that Bloodthorn common pickup right now versus the Medusa.
We do have a smoke on the back lines on the side of EHOME. Gonna see if they can Bei Zhao 8, it looks like.
Radiant's bottom shrine is
Moving
under
forward,
attack.
to spot out Ace. They've got a nice ward over there.
He's always ready to jump in, use that Carapace, catch him, and stun him because of that radiance of his.
See some pings coming out.
The smoke. They know what's happening. That's why they're rotating around on the radiant side. You can see that they planted that ward, so they have the vision as well. And they're just
double damage again for Fata. We're hoping they can get some sort of a pick off here. Lots of sentries. They do spot out over here, and we'll be able to take down that sentry ward. Tabs on the Roshan.
He barely dodged that sentry, so this observer ward still didn't scout him. He's still moving outside of NIP's vision.
Smoke up again. You can see NIP getting into position over here. They know that something's up, so they're going to group together. They have to be careful. 33 staying a little bit further behind. Wants to be able to get that Ravage off.
They've
also got to watch out. They have a Blink Dagger on the Winter Wyvern, and it is going to be they just run right into each other. Atos is going to get used now. They should be able to take down the Undying. Not going to be a factor here. 33 trying to run himself out. Still has that Ravage online. Ace on the back end trying to run himself away. Is going to have to go use that Rage. He's going to try to fight Neverend, but he does get mashed up here, and then comes 33. He's going to try to find that opening. Wants to get himself that Ravage, and the Deuce is just doing so much damage. Look at Fata on the back end. He can't do anything. He's just starting to get melted, while over on the side, you're going to see that the
use the cheese.
Is taken down. Fata trying to run himself out. 33 TPing himself away. He's not going to be able to. They'll be able to cancel it out, and they'll be able to take down 33, while at the same time, we're seeing the Doom. Saksa blinks himself, tries to TP out and join Fata.
Saksa used that Doom on the Leshrac, didn't manage to kill him. At the same time, they have the same issue over and over again on that Tidehunter. They don't have enough mana to use that Ravage. But even when he could have used it, he didn't, because he realized that not everyone is there ready to fight. If you use that Ravage and your teammates aren't around to instantly capitalize on it, it's wasted. And after he hesitates for a second or two, the Mystic Snake connects and he doesn't have enough mana to use it afterwards. They're in a really rough spot right now. There's the Aegis, there's the Cheese, there's the Refresher Orb as well on the side of EHOME. The Aegis goes to Duza, and this is going to be your classic. Put the Duza in front, let her hit the Raxes. Actually, Wraith King can do that too, as he has that Refresher Shard now.
They're feeling very strong right now. Jinju just moves himself forward, starts off. Nice stomp though, coming out from Soxa. Gonna try to punish him for being this far forward. Spy Carapace slows them down. And then we see all of this Scotty damage coming out from Dusa. They'll just be able to take down Soxa. Soxa does have buyback. He's down for 60 seconds otherwise, as they're gonna just keep jumping forward. Buyback coming out from Dupe. They want to protect the Undying, but they're not gonna be able to. He's gonna get taken down.
And he has no buyback whatsoever. Tidehunter did just respawn. They have that Ravage. Nyx is up in 10 seconds. I don't think they want to use that buyback. They're gonna wait for 5 more seconds and then they're gonna initiate. But it's gonna be very difficult for them to stop this Duza with Aegis that's just standing in front.
Look at 33, he's tanky,
no
he's
mana.
gonna be up in the middle of everything, but he doesn't have any mana. And again, the jump forward coming out from Soxa, but he's not gonna be able to do anything either. They'll follow up with the Winter's Curse, holding the Lifestealer into place as they pop that BKB over here on the Dusa. They're just gonna be able to take down the Tombstone, and now they're gonna chase down over onto this low ground, although there's gonna be another buyback coming out from the Nyx Assassin. That split coming through, and should they be able to take down? They have that Cheese though over on Ace. They'll follow up with a nice Ravage. Can they fight themselves through? So again, another stomp coming up for Soxa, but this Medusa, she's just a raid boss, and she turns right back around, keeps firing everywhere, as they're able to eventually chase down Soxa on the back line. They're not leaving the space anytime soon. Fata, he's trying everything. He's got the refraction up, he's got the BKB up, but he can't run himself away. They're just going to be able to chase them down the entire time. That break coming through, they'll get the kill over onto TA. Will they be able to find the kill onto Ace? He's trying to run himself out. He's not going to be able to. They get the bash over here onto the Tidehunter. 33, he's trying to get himself in the base. He can't do it. They're going to lose
They have no buybacks.
They have
It's
no
over.
buyback. It is going to be good game coming out
PPD
from
calls it.
Ninjas in Pajamas. EHOME take up this game. We get a tie, 1-1.
Yet another team falls to Medusa. It's just